Disclaimer. I am not a linguist, nor do I have a professional background in linguistics. I'm just a filmmaker who loves language and world building. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Conlang, a constructed language. These tools of world building have been used since J.R.R. Tolkien wrote the first word in Sindarin, all those years ago. So, as a writer and filmmaker, I decided to try my hand at language creation. To date, I've created 6 full-ish languages. And a few years ago, 2 years ago, actually, I created a writing system, and looking back on it, I'm not sure if I knew what the hell I was doing. On this episode of Mistakes in World Building, we're taking a truly interstellar journey to a mysterious world with a really crappy writing system. So let's get started. This is the fictional planet Pallas, home to the, you guessed it, Pallasians. These humanoid aliens are part of a much larger universe that I'm still keeping tabs on. But let's not stray too far from the topic. As with most cultures, the Pallasians have a language called... you get the picture. Before we delve into it, let's define some things. There are 2 versions of Pallasian. One is the Old Language, sometimes called New Tokian after the region it originated in. The other is the new language I created about 6 months ago called Akaeya. First, we'll look at the spoken language. The only problem is, since the inception of this language, the folders associated with it have been shifted around and deleted multiple times. So we don't have the full original language, but only fragments of what I can remember. Searching through the past archives, I found references to this regrettable part of my world-building past. In old maps like this one, and references to a mysterious world, Playdar, and the name of a character, Verdari. First, let's assemble all the words we know in Pallasian. Well, it's more than I thought, but as you can see, there's no rhyme or reason to some of these. First, just to make life easier, let's standardize pronunciation. Mostly the vowels. It appears we're going with a 5-vowel system, and there is a distinction between long and short vowels. And I'll show the consonants as well. Here's how I romanize them. Alright, let's examine the part you've all been waiting for. The writing system! Oh, God. It's worse than I thought. Is that Y and W being represented by the same character? And blatant copies of Roman letters? Okay, this is gonna be bad. First, let's look at the translation of each letter. Now, at this time, I didn't know what the IPA was, so there's no guide on how to pronounce these things. Okay, well, this is quite interesting. On some letters, it appears the consonants and vowels are represented together, hinting at a type of abugida. The phoneme e, I think that's how it's pronounced, tells us that there is a short a sound in the language. However, this is not represented in the romanization, so it can't be that important. Now, while there's a separate letter for C and K, there's no letter for Q, which is a surprising step in the right direction. Now, the story of how C and K came to coexist in English is long and complicated, and I haven't yet seen something like that represented in a Conlang. It'd be really interesting, in Pallasian, and would hint at a deep history in phonology. However, Pallasian has no such thing. Another coincidence is the letter Y representing both Y and W, which is actually part of the story of W. One last thing is the character for Z also represents H or X. However, there is not historical basis, so this is irrelevant. Overall, I think that Pallasian is an interesting study on the mistakes you can encounter while making Conlang. It provides a window into a man who's just getting into Conlang and stumbled along the way. Now, I think I'm ready to close the case on Pallasian and remedy my linguistic mistakes. I've come to peace with what I've done, and I'm ready to move on. Now, we shall look at the good languages, the stories that have unfolded since the incidents which made up this miniseries. Now, we march onward towards the future. Next, we look at my own Conlangs. And, as a wise man once said, no Conlang is perfect. Thank you.